Hello, dear friends. Welcome to this program, Our Moments with God, where I share with you my simple and humble reflections on the daily Mass readings in an informal way, with the hope that this will help you and me in our spiritual journey, in our search for the divine, in making a connection with God, and eventually even friendship with God. And if you would like to subscribe to this channel, you may please do it now. Go to the end of the video when my picture appears, click on that and you will find an option. And if you like the video, you may please also share it with others that they may also take advantage of it. Thank you. Today is the 25th of July, and as I told you yesterday, these days I am in Germany visiting some friends, and this is my little holiday that I am making. And today, 25th of July, is the feast of Saint James the Apostle. I was trying to look for some churches, but they're far, and then you have to get a lot of permissions to shoot there. So I'm just shooting here in the balcony of the house of my friend Martin Kiermaier. He is a good friend for a long time. And Saint James the Apostle, along with his brother, they were sons of Zebedee, also became friends of Jesus. They were not just apostles, of course, that was how he called them first. They were fishermen, and Jesus approached them and called them to follow him. They left their nets and followed Jesus. And of course, we talk about apostles being sent out and they had a serious mission, but I'm quite certain that as they lived their life along with Jesus, they certainly developed a friendship with him. They understood or try to understand, though a lot of times we do think that they did not understand the inner meaning, because Jesus was turning the whole world around and its values around. They grew up in a certain circumstances, in certain culture, in certain way of looking at God and their relationship with God, and Jesus was turning the whole thing on its head, actually, as it were, because he was bringing in completely new teachings. Yeah, you were told, he said, to an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, but I tell you this. The whole thing, I mentioned this some time ago, and this is why, though they found it difficult to understand him and what he was teaching, they certainly were his friends, and friends to support each other. That's why they could go out to the whole world. Of course, there is an interesting story about James and his brother John, whom he had also taken at the Mount for Transfiguration. But the interesting story is about their mother. They were sons of Zebedee, as I told you, but their mother once approached Jesus, and if you remember, that this was a time when Jesus had just mentioned that he was going to Jerusalem, and there he was going to suffer and die. Remember? And as if the mother and the apostle, these disciples, had not at all heard his concern, his pain, she comes forward and says, promise that one of my sons will be sitting on your right and the other on your left. And I have mentioned this earlier, that the apostles at that time were thinking of the earthly glory and even afterwards heavenly glory. But what is very paradoxical, if you like, and very interesting in that sense of the Christian vocation, is they did not get what they thought they wanted and what they thought was required. They did get a crown, but crown of what? Not crown of glory. Yes, crown of glory in the sense, in the heavenly glory, but they got the crown of martyrdom. Yes, they were martyred. And that is the case except with John. All of the apostles were martyred. I have mentioned this earlier. So, one very important teaching from here for me personally and for all of us, you see, often we think that if we are close to God, that if we are deep in prayer, that if our faith, that we have not done anything wrong, then how come suffering comes our way? How come that problems come our way? Why does God abandon us? Does God not hear our prayer, etc.? The other day, I was in Austria giving a talk somewhere, and one lady came making confession, and then she said, "You know, Father Dominic, I have suddenly developed pain in my hand from where I don't know. Is it because I have done something wrong that God is punishing me?" So she started talking about the pain and whatever with something wrong that she has done. So it is a kind of punishment from God, she thought. But this is not how God works. God gives suffering and pain also to people he loves, those who are his friends. Imagine every single apostle died the death of martyrdom except John. And following that, then there have been thousands of saints, both men and women, who have been martyred in his name. What I'm trying to say is that please do not be under a wrong impression. And this often I get the questions, you know, I have not done anything wrong to anybody. The other day, somebody was telling me, I don't know why my son has failed. We never earned money from wrong means. We have been living very honest life. Why has my son failed? These are questions that we keep on asking why. But remember, this suffering and pain is part and parcel of Christian life. If you are getting close to God, I have mentioned this earlier and I mention again, then you have to go through this suffering. Unlike the mother of James, the wife of Zebedee, the mother of James and John, who wanted her sons to be sitting in glory, one on the right and one on the left of Jesus, and have a kind of a kingdom. Of course, they also thought that Jesus was going to remove the Roman Empire and free the people from the Roman oppression and become himself a ruler, a Messiah. At that time was thought to be that he would be the king. Ultimately, of course, on his cross, they wrote that I-N-R-I. It is not I-N-R-I, it is J-N-R-I. Jesus of Nazareth, King of Jews, is the full meaning of those four letters on the top of the cross. So he was, in that sense, a king, but they were expecting him to be an earthly king with power and might and glory and wealth and all that goes with the earthly power. So let us always remember, even for us, that when we have sufferings, then of course sufferings can come also from wrong means when people are living wrong lives. But if you are living a pious life, if you are living a holy life, if you are living a prayerful life, and you still come across sufferings, then remember that it is a gift from God. He wants to be intimate with you and wants you to bring you closer to him. I hope you understand why all the apostles were martyred despite being close friends of Jesus and doing the mission of Jesus. If you would like to subscribe to this channel, you may do it now. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.